Hi guys, I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. So at the end of the last video, I said that I was up to something at the weekend. Well, this was it. No, I did not enter into Mario Land, but I did enter into a 5K colour rush obstacle course with my husband. It was so much fun. As you can see, there was lots of powdered paint, lots of colour, hence the name Colour Rush, and there were lots of obstacles to climb and clamber over. It was, as I said, it was really good fun. The sun came out, it was a beautiful day, but just typical when you're starting to run around a race course. So it was very, very hot. As you can tell, I've caught a little bit of colour from the weekend. Now, we signed up for this in hope and raising a little bit of money for charity, but what I've decided to do this time, I've done it back to front. Rather than starting up a GoFundMe, which I know some people are dubious of, and rather than people giving donations when I haven't done something, I thought that we'd do the race, can show you that we did the race, and then hopefully for those of you that can actually make a donation, I'm going to give you the information to the charity. So you donate directly. I've got nothing to do with it. It's then entirely up to you if you wish to give a small donation, but obviously just even sharing and subscribing to his social media accounts and drawing attention to the wonderful things that Niall Harbison does for the Thai street dogs. He dedicates his life into helping Thai street dogs, from helping to feed as many as he can with the help of amazing volunteers, with fresh food being made every day, and also to help provide medical treatment to those that desperately need it. Every penny donated goes towards food, veterinary care, and importantly, sterilisation. This is to steady the flow of puppies that are being born into a life of suffering. Medical care is often required, and this is due to the harshness of being a street dog in Thailand. You can see here one of the dogs, someone had actually tried to kill him. They used a pickaxe to do it. Luckily, Niall and his volunteers met this wonderful dog, and he is now actually being adopted to a couple in Scotland, which is wonderful. Now, obviously, not all of the dogs can be rescued and can be rehomed. What Niall tries to do is to give these street dogs the best quality of life that he and the volunteers can give them. So please, if you could give a donation, it would absolutely mean a lot to me and my husband if you could spare a couple of pennies here and there. You can directly donate to Niall and you can use Donor Box. Now, this is all checked out. It's all genuine. You can follow him on social media accounts to see all of the good work he does before deciding if you want to donate. He is on TikTok, he is on Instagram, he is on YouTube, and he is on Twitter. Those are the ones that I know about. And as you know, with my two rescue dogs, it is something incredibly close to my heart. So that's enough about dogs. Let's get on to the reason why you're here, the royals, the real royals, and not the ones cosplaying. In another kaboom moment in a beautiful Jenny Packham gown, naturally, we had a surprise from Catherine, Princess of Wales, when she made an appearance on the Eurovision Song Contest. No, she wasn't singing, but she was playing the piano as part of Ukraine's opening song for the final. Now, naturally, the UK went back to how it was before last year, and we got nil points. We came in second to last. What adds insult to injury is our actual contestant that the BBC picked to represent the UK hates the UK, is incredibly vocal about how she can't wait to move out of it, and the song was pretty awful. Quite the interesting pick to represent us, don't you think? But luckily we did have a nice little representation from the UK in the Ukraine's opening song, where we saw lots of other British stars have a mini bit, and as I said, the princess surprised us yet again as the camera zoomed in through Windsor Castle to the beautiful crimson drawing room, where we saw our gorgeous princess in blue tinkling some tunes on the piano. Her dress was absolutely breathtaking. Naturally, Pietro Illustrations, who I'm always talking about, she has done a beautiful image of the princess. The dress was truly beautiful. It looks like a waterfall when you see photographs of it spilling across the ground. Catherine looked an absolute vision, and her smile just radiates sunshine. And I say that because she genuinely smiles. You know, when someone puts on a fake smile, I mean, well, we know someone that puts on a fake smile all the time, but some people, when they smile and they mean it, it can light up a room. Catherine is definitely one of these people. Now, I did a post on Twitter and I got a little bit of flack for it. But because you only get so many words, I don't think I explained what I was trying to say very well. So I'll try it on here and see what you guys think. Catherine was wearing the blue dress for representation for half of the colour of the Ukraine flag. Catherine has also recently worn a very similar style dress but in white at the BAFTAs. That was an Alexander McQueen dress, which was also a rewear and slightly redesigned from 2019. Catherine also wore another one-shouldered Jenny Packham dress back in 2011. In fact, all of the royal ladies have favoured wearing one-shouldered dresses from years, from Margaret to Princess Anne. So this is not something new, but you can guess what happened. Now, in my comment, I said that I think that they made a bad choice. Not Catherine wearing a dress like that. She looked amazing, but it was the fact it was the same style blue, same shoulder, and they swept her hair over to the same side. It's not that I think they shouldn't have done it, but I was just trying to say that this is going to cause typical fanfare and backlash about Catherine trying to copy Meghan. And of course, 3-4 days of absolute carnage on social media of both sides that are warring factions. As I said, I managed to upset both sides. Social media, when it comes to especially royal social media, is quickly becoming like the Hunger Games. But I'm going to stand by an unpopular opinion, and I don't care. I still think that Meghan at the NAACP Awards was one of her prettiest looks. So I'm just going to go with the fact that both women looked absolutely beautiful in blue and be done with it. So that's enough of blue. Let's get on to green. And green is the colour of the Earthshot, which has just recently announced that it would be holding November's Earthshot Prize in Singapore, one of the cleanest and greenest cities and countries in the entire world. Singapore has over 3 million trees covering it, with a rainforest in the heart of the island. It is known as the Garden City. Singapore is the perfect example that humans can, in fact, coexist with nature. Humans are capable of building, restoring, and helping nature when they want to, including even in huge built-up cities. The buildings have cascading gardens, green roofs, balconies full of plant life, which means it's full of bird life, it's full of insects. It has one of the most amazing man-made as well biodiversities in a city. It's truly breathtaking, and I just wish when you look at London, we really start adopting stuff like this. All these people keep going on about being green. This is being green. This is the type of green that makes a difference to the planets, to the animals, to the environment. The wildlife that you can see within the city is truly breathtaking. They have got wild otters that run around the city, the rivers. They've got monkeys, civets, flying lemurs, hornbills. It truly looks like a remarkable place. And I have to say, it is very, very high on the list for a place for my husband and I to visit. We've got this wish list, and to be honest with you, it's always increasing. When we've knocked off one, we've already gained another 5, but Singapore is very high up. I hope it's in the next 5 places that we're lucky enough to go see. Now let's shoot on back over to the palace, where we have had some new photographs released of the coronation, the official portraits. One of the pictures features the king and queen, of course, and also with all 8 of their pages. 3 of which were Camilla's grandchildren, and the eldest one, which is on Camilla's side, is actually her youngest sister's son, who is also in the photograph with her. Camilla's youngest sister, Annabel Elliot, and she was alongside Lady Lansdowne, who are the Queen's companions. They are 2 of 6 women that have filled the role. In another photograph released, we also had the 3 kings. Well, obviously 1 king and 2 heirs, but we had Princes William and Prince George. It still feels a little bit weird, doesn't it, without Queen Elizabeth standing alongside all of them. Now, in more royal news, we saw Prince Edward, the Duke of Edinburgh, who appeared alongside former Premier League football star Jermaine Jenas, who has now turned TV presenter, and they were there to help celebrate the completed Gold Duke of Edinburgh Award. Jermaine actually completed his Duke of Edinburgh Silver Award many years ago, and when he was speaking to some of the guests that were there at Buckingham Palace, he said how actually completing the Duke of Edinburgh Award gave him courage, it gave him resilience to choose a path that was right for him, especially when he decided to leave football to be under the stadium lights to then choose a career under the spotlight. He said it gave him the much needed courage to have faith in his own decisions. I've got a lot of time for Edward and Sophie. They've never come across as people that have really wanted the limelight. They're very, very involved with people when they go to events, and you can tell that Edward actually being given the Duke of Edinburgh position and going to all of these award ceremonies actually means a lot to him to follow in his father's footsteps. Sophie and Edward were seen last week as well. The Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh went to a pop-up puppy training class. Say that 3 times quick. The training classes were to help the puppies learn how to be service dogs for the blind. Sophie is actually patron of the Blind Dogs Association in the UK. Now, Harry and Meghan, hot on the heels of it being Coronation week, have been desperately trying to get into the headlines. I've seen more headlines about them on social media than I have in the actual real media. And that is because I think even the newspapers, much like the public, are pretty much bored of their antics. It's all so predictable. As the USA celebrated Mother's Day, Meghan made not 1 but 2 appearances. First appearance we had was on Instagram, where Meghan was being promoted. Meghan was promoting Community of Motherhood, where her friend kindly and naturally spoke about how warm, kind and nurturing Meghan is. Try telling that to her father, her in-laws, former friends, her own family, staff. The list goes on. Meghan does not come across as a kind, loving, caring or nurturing Mother Earth person to me. Now, also keeping up with the roses, or rather the royals, the couple had another attempt at cosplaying, still being working members of the royal family, where they decided to visit a youth group to talk about the pressures of social media, how to deal with it, coping strategies, and of course, mental health. This is all in aid of it being Mental Health Month. Now, Harry and Meghan giving advice to teenagers on mental health. Given the fact that Meghan is cruelly pretending that her own father is dead, isolating her 2 children from their entire family, both sides, and I don't just mean her mother's side and her father's side, she's technically doing it from 4 sides because that includes Harry's family, both sides. Meghan aside, let's just talk about Harry, who recently has spoken of how he keeps mummy's hair at the side of his bed. He's still incredibly angry that his brother got a bigger bedroom and had an extra sausage at breakfast. He's reminisced about how his brother broke his tie-on necklace and pushed him into a dog bowl, and the fact that he has heavily promoted the use of psychedelic banned illegal drugs to help him. He hasn't just talking about the fact that he took cocaine, mushrooms when he was a teenager. He has recently been heavily promoting the use of psychedelic drugs to help clear his windscreen. Now, as a parent, as a grandparent, as an auntie, is that the sort of person that you'd want talking to your teenagers and giving them advice on coping mechanisms? Harry hasn't exactly been able to move forward in his life over anything. In fact, Harry seems to be regressing backwards, and he's angry at everyone over everything. He still can't even turn around and say, oh, maybe I'm responsible for some of the things that I've done. Maybe I'm responsible for some of the decisions I've made. But sure, that's the sort of person that's there to give advice to teenagers. I've said it before, but it's a bit like Hannibal Lecter giving dietary advice to vegans. And in true style, which makes me think that Meghan is the one actually that writes the promotional spiel for Archewell, they blew their own trumpet and said, the Archewell Foundation has a history of engaging on these critical issues and working in partnership to develop programmes to support and inspire change. Have you heard any of these programmes? Anything that they've inspired for change? Talking about the history of Archewell. It's only been going for 2 years, and even that's a little bit sketchy. The youth club visit was little more than the opportunity for a photo shoot and a good old bit of self-promotion. Now, in their final desperate attempt, and also to quash those Meghan might be pregnant rumours, I didn't even know that that was going around, but apparently it's a thing because of Meghan was wearing a weird weight belt around her stomach when she, miraculously got snapped hiking in the middle of nowhere. Meghan was seen looking ultra slim, ultra skinny, and of course a nice side shot of her when she decided to go out for sushi with her husband at an exclusive restaurant with her new A-list friends Gwyneth Paltrow, Cameron Diaz and her husband Benji Madden. Now, as it turns out, I've been reading that Gwyneth Paltrow's agent has confirmed that she was not there. That is not true. And also, as most sleuths on social media have pointed out, look at these photographs. Does Cameron Diaz look is she even aware that Meghan's there? Or even better, she is aware that Meghan's walking past and she is choosing to ignore her and stay on her phone. This does not look like a couple that is meeting up with another couple. You can see that Benji is looking actually at his wife, Cameron. Cameron is not looking at Harry and Meghan, and if you look at Harry in this shot, he's looking straight ahead. They're walking straight into the restaurant. It's only manic Meg with her manic grin that's obviously trying to get the smile out of Benji. Now, what is ridiculous about this is it's quite clearly TMZ. It's dial-a-pap. Meghan and Harry, what they don't realise, it's quite obvious that they've done it. They're never photographed leaving a restaurant. Think about it logically. When a celebrity is photographed leaving somewhere, it's because someone in their patron, maybe a valet, maybe a waiting staff, maybe someone has gone, oh, they're in this restaurant, and they've let it be known. So paparazzi will go there and wait. But the fact that Harry and Meghan, it's always perfectly timed for their arrival at these places, it's pretty obvious that they were expecting them to be there. Now, Cameron Diaz and her husband are actual genuine A-list people, and they genuinely are a private couple. So they possibly could not have been too happy that the paparazzi were called. They've now been used in this propaganda of Harry and Meghan trying to be A-listers. Possibly something to do with the new agency that Meghan has signed up with. They're trying to promote her by using TMZ. It's all incredibly Amber Heard, but my gut feeling is telling me Meghan had got the paps to meet them there. She saw Cameron and Benji there. Quick, Harry, let's go. Let's get snapped standing close near them as I smile, and then we can pretend that we're friends with A-listers. It was just all too, well, forgive the pun, but a bit fishy for me. I know, dad joke of the day. So I'm currently waiting to see what is the result of Harry's court case, because he is suing His Majesty's government to try and get paid for taxpayer-funded police security. So I will be back with you tomorrow to give you an update. So take care for now. See you soon. Bye.